we're going to start by getting really comfortable. And obviously we've been, doing things and getting all our tension maybe in our shoulders. So we need to just shrug it out a little bit. So we're just going to do a couple of little shoulder shrugs. So I'm going to just start with the right shoulder and just roll it. And then the left shoulder and just roll that. And then I'm going to do both together and just really a couple of shoulder shrugs just to get any of that tension out. And then I want you just to shake your arms, shake it all out down by your side. So just shaking the arms out and letting that tension just go out, the ends of your fingers all gone, so that we can really start just as comfortable as we can be to do our tile today. So if you could just have your feet flat on the floor, legs not crossed, and get your bum just really firm in the seat so it's supporting you. And then we're going to start with a few breaths. So we're going to breathe in and out, and in and out. Okay, and we'll begin. So I'm going to start, and I am going to have a border on my tile today. So I'm going to start with my 4 dots, 1 in each corner. And as I draw my lines, I'll take my breath in and breathe out as you draw your second line. Breathe in and out. Okay. So I'm going to start by doing a spiral. And if you don't leave any space, that's fine. If you do leave a bit of space, that's fine too. Don't get too worried about it. It's going to basically be what it's going to be. But I'm going to kind of start a little bit off center, just so I would like to have a little bit of space to do some mookas at the end. So I'm going to kind of come over to this left-hand corner and just start my spiral. And if it bumps into the side, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so I'm just going to start, and I'm using my pencil. I'm going to be going over it again with my pen, but I'm just going to do it in my pencil to start. And it's going to bump into the side, and that's fine. And then it's going to come back out down the bottom here. And it'll bump again into the side, and that's fine. And then it'll come back out here, I'd imagine. And then I'm just going to come around, and I'm just going to stop, okay, and leave it hanging basically. Because I think what I'll do on this side is we're going to have hopefully some little mookas coming out of there. Now, I'm going to very carefully now go around the spiral that I've just drawn with my pen, okay? And don't worry if you don't get it exactly right, but you just want to draw around that spiral with your pen and just breathe and take it nice and slowly and just focus on drawing this spiral. And you might have to stop and turn your tile, and that's absolutely fine. But just take it nice and slow, no rush, and just follow the line. Just breathe normally and just follow that round. Turn your tile just so that it's comfortable for you to do this drawing. Okay. So I'm just going over my pencil line. I just find it easier to do it in pencil first. Okay. And we're going to be colouring in and doing loads of shading. So the pencil line, even if you don't manage to get it exactly right, you're going to be shading and colouring and all sorts, so don't be worrying about it too much. Okay. Oops. And just come around just to that end point. There we are. Okay. So to start with our pen, I'm just going to do a line from that center point down and then a line. So it's like a little half of a square basically. So across and down. Okay. And that's just my starting point. Okay, so that's kind of the first bit that's going to be coloured. But we're not worrying about that just yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw lines coming from the one edge of your spiral to the other edge. Okay, and you're imagining that you've got a spiral and there's maybe some rope wrapped around it. Okay, so if I start here, I'm going to do a little line, and it's not a straight line because we're working with a curve, so it's a little sort of arc, and then I'm going to do another one like that, and I'm going to work my way around just doing these little sort of curved lines because we're working on a spiral, so they're not going to be straight. And they don't have to match up. So I'm not trying to, come to this space here and match up to the line I've just drawn. They will just be where they will be. So you just put your lines where you want to put your lines. Okay. It's your little piece of artwork and there's no rules. Okay. So just coming around and drawing a line, and then just moving your tile so that it's comfortable for you, and just continue doing your lines. Okay, and then when you come to this bit, there's still going to be lines. It's just that you're not seeing all of it, but that's fine. You can just add them in. And then I'll just do one at the very end. I'm just going to have it like that. Okay, so make sure you basically end up with a line at the end. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to just colour in the center here. So that little half moon shape basically is just going to get coloured in. And I'll probably change to a thicker marker because I'm going to be doing a lot of colouring. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to do a little aura on the line. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to do a little aura. So I'm going to do an aura there and an aura there, like that. Okay, so I've just done a little aura just on each side of that line, like that. And then I'm going to just colour in the middle bit. Now when I'm colouring, I'm going to leave a little bit of the middle to do that reflective bit. Okay, so I'll start, bring my colour up, bring my colour down, but leave a little white bit in the middle. Okay, and it's a white line because it's reflection. So it looks like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to spin my towel around, and I'm going to do another little aura line. So you can just have a line coming down and a line coming down like that. And then I'm going to colour in this space. And once again, I will leave a little line using the marker. I'll leave a little line in the middle as my reflection. Okay, so it's just a line where the light is reflecting off. Okay, and you're not, smoothing it off or anything. It is a little jaggedy line because it's not going to be a reflection, isn't going to be a perfect shape. So it is a bit jaggedy, which is absolutely fine. And then I'm going to start to move around, and I'm going to do a little aura again, and then colour in. So you're basically leaving a gap and colouring in, leaving a gap and colouring in. Okay, and I know this is going to be quite a bit of colouring in, but it's very therapeutic. Okay, and just try not to be putting your fingers where you're doing your colouring so that you don't transfer any of this, because this is quite inky, isn't it? You don't want to really transfer this onto any of your tile. And we're just working around. So doing an aura, and then colouring in. And don't be worrying when you get to a point where you've got two that are kind of joining up, because when you add your shade in, that gets broken up anyway. Because I know it might look like, oh wow, there's a lot of black there, but it's absolutely fine when you come to do the shading and get that contrast. That will just merge and be part of the whole sort of 3D drawing, you'll see. Okay, so again, just leaving my little reflection. Right, I'm just going to carry on now, just doing this all the way around. So just focus on these marks that you're making on your towel just now. Okay. Kind of little circular motions. It's quite good for just filling up the space. And also means that you remember to leave your little reflection as well. Just rather than going in and trying to just do the whole shape at once. Okay, because we have to focus and remember to leave our little reflection. Just remember to breathe normally. We can sort of get into the concentration and hold our breath. So we just need to focus on our breath as well, just so that we're breathing just normally, nice and relaxed. Just focusing on this mark that we're making on the tile right now. Okay, so that's what it's looking like. we're just basically just moving around, doing our little aura and colouring in. Okay. You're just working around, really just focusing. It's actually really relaxing, just getting lost in just colouring these portions of this tangle. Just breathing normally and focusing on the marks that you're making on your towel just now. Okay. And just move your towel so that it's comfortable for you. But just remember that it's going to be quite inky. So just be careful of where your hands are so that you don't smudge or get ink on yourself. Because we are actually putting a lot of ink down on the tile today. You just working your way around. Just breathing normally. Okay. Okay, and then my last one. So at the end, I'll have my little oar line still, and then I'll just, as I've done all along, just colour this in. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of just have a look because some of the colouring in is a bit blotchy. So I'm just gonna go around and just make sure that I haven't got any really significant white bits where the black bits should be. So just having a look, just touching that up. And that is basically that tangle done. And then what I'm going to do from the little sort of trumpet end is I'm going to have some mookas just coming out of there. So I'm going to have some coming up this way and I'll have some coming down this way just to finish it off. If you don't want to do anything else, you can just leave this tile as it is, and then when we come to do the shading, you can shade it and just have it as it is. Or you can add some mist. In the background, you could just have mist coming down off your little Marsu tangle. So I'll just show you mist in case you want to do mist instead of doing the Mooka, because it wasn't one that I showed you at the start. So I'll just show you mist. So mist is just this one here. So you might want to just have some mist coming down from your border edge, and that would just be doing some little wiggles and then some dots, some wiggles and dots, and you can do them different lengths and different dot numbers. Okay, but as I say, I'm going to do the Mooka. So I'm going to come round and have a little apostrophe and then come back down like that. Okay, and then I'm going to have one that goes all the way up. Get that little apostrophe, and then remember it's a thick line for the mookas. So when you're coming back down, it's quite a thick. It's coming in like that. Okay, and then I'll have another one. Using quite a thick pen, I've just realized. And then I'm going to have, just going to swap over to my liner pen because I've just realized I'm using a very thick one that I was using for coloring in. So just have I just thought they're kind of very organic and they match in very well, I think, with the style of this. So it's like a little trumpet, and it could be like an underwater and undersea style. Okay. And you can kind of come up one that you've done already and then have another Mooka coming off that. That's absolutely fine too. Okay. And don't forget they can go the other way as well. So I could be coming up and go that way. Okay. So I'm kind of pretty happy with that. Don't want to go overboard. So I'm going to actually come around and reinforce my border now. So I'm just going to come along and draw in my pencil border with the marker. And then when I meet my Mooka, I'll stop and then just go the other side. And then the same on this side, I'll come along with my border. And then when I meet it, I'll just bump. And I think actually that I'm going to do a little aura of my border. So I'm going to come along and just aura my border. So I'll go out at the side so it can kind of create like a frame. So I'm going slightly wide so that when I join up, it's creating like a frame. So I'll just come slightly wide there. And again, when I bump into my Mooka, I'll just go the other side. Okay, but I just think it might be nice to have a frame. Just a bit different. Okay, so I've created a little frame going all the way around. Like that. And I think now I'll look at doing the shading. So when we're shading the Marsu one, we are going to be putting some graphite at the top. Sure, this is, yeah, at the top and the bottom of the white spaces only. Okay, you don't really want to go over the black with the pencil because it kind of can just give a bit of a sort of shiny sheen with the lead on the black. So I want you just to focus on the white spaces on this particular tangle. Okay, so top and bottom, just come in with the graphite. Okay, all the way along on all of those white bits. Okay, just making sure that you're popping some graphite. And then I'm going to get my turtle on and I'm going to just blend out. So just pull that. The key is to leave some white in the middle. So you're going to blend down to the middle and up to the middle, but you have to leave white. Okay. There has to be white space to get the proper contrast. Okay. That's what I always say. When we're doing our shading, it's not about, you know, where the light's coming from and stuff like that. This is about trying to give depth to a 2D picture. So really, we need to leave white space so that that pops and gives you the contrast. So just blend the pencil from the top and the bottom, and just be careful when you come close to the inky bit. that you don't, you know, because obviously that's very heavy ink, and you don't pull any of that into your shading, because you might feel it's sort of a bit rougher. So just going around and shading top and bottom. And you'll see immediately that you get a very 3D look very quickly by just doing that. And I'm also going to come around the outside and just add a little bit of graphite around the base of it, again, just so that it gives contrast, and that'll make it pop as well. So just add a little bit of graphite. I haven't even added any more onto my tile. I've just taken what's on my tortillon. So just adding a little bit there just to give it a little bit of depth. And if that isn't enough, do come in and add more. Okay, if you feel that it needs a little bit more, then just come in and add and blend that out. Okay, it's what you think it needs to make it pop off the page. Okay. And with our little mookas, I'm going to just come in and do a little shade. Just choose one side to shade, so either the left or the right, but just as long as it's just one side of the little sort of bulb bit at the top. Just do a little arc, a little bit like when we do our poke roots. We just kind of choose one side and shade on that side. So I'm shading on the left of all of mine. Okay, and then just kind of pull that out and just try and leave some of it so that it's white. Okay, so you're going to have part of the sort of little bulb is going to be dark and part of it's going to be light. Okay, so you're just going to blend it out so that you've still got some white on there. Okay, and you can also come in and just, like where all the stems are coming out of the sort of trumpet bit, I'm going to add a little bit of graphite there and then just pull that out, because that would be darker. And I want to just give that. Okay, so it's just giving it depth, because that would be all those stems together, definitely would be a darker spot. Okay, and then maybe just around the edge of the sort of trumpet bit, I'm going to add some as well, just so it's a little bit deeper. Okay, and if you want to do the stems, you can go along. My tortillon's quite thick, but you could do a little shade on just one side of the stem of your mookas, again, just to give them a bit more definition. So just choose a side to add a little bit of graphite, but I'm not going to add any. I'm just going to smudge out with what's on my tortillon at the minute. I think it's probably got plenty on there. Okay, so I think really that's kind of about it, I think, with that. I'm quite pleased how that's turned out, actually. So just remember that in Zentangle, there's no top or bottom. So you need to really just look at your tile and turn it round and just study it from all four directions. Okay. And make sure you're happy with how it looks. And then I'm going to come in, choose a corner. I've got a little tiny corner here, which I can just add a little PB to initial my tile. There's a little space just there, which was perfect. And then as I say, it's always better held at arm's length to really appreciate the tile. It always looks so much better whenever you hold it at arm's length. So I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to write my name. And today's date is the 5th of August, 2021. That's my Zen Tangle session. And then we've only used 2, but wow, I'd say. So we've used the Marsu and the Mooka. Okay,